Macy's stores all over the world are closing. Good evening, I'm Juliana Chavez. The Macy's department store in Medford has survived a series of cuts over the past few years that have shuttered hundreds of stores and eliminated thousands of jobs. Raider News stopped by the Rogue Valley Mall to see if the local store's luck continues. It was announced to the public by Macy's Corporate that over 150 stores across the country are shutting down. Although the Macy's at the Rogue Valley Mall located in Medford, Oregon is one of their stores that will remain open. I tried speaking with Macy's management team, but due to legal reasons, they couldn't provide me with any new information. However, I was able to get a quick interview with a woman who claims to be a loyal Macy's customer.
So I've been coming here for a long time with my mom since I was young. So there's a lot of great memories. And I think Macy's has a lot of great opportunities for the community, like jobs. And I'm glad Macy's is here to stay.
Despite the closures and layoffs happening nationwide, this location will continue to provide jobs for people in the community. As a result, Macy's plans to stay open and to continue serving its Rogue Valley customers. The Snyder Museum of Art is showcasing a new exhibit. What's at Stake asks us to consider our responsibility to each other. Claire Solstice explains.
On March 1st, the Snyder Museum of Art hosted a gallery viewing for the first Friday of the month. The gallery features Al Faro, Masami Teraoka, and Zina Baraka. These artists create art that represent the issues of war, human rights violations, and environmental collapse. The name of the exhibit, What's at Stake, asks us to reflect on our collective responsibility when we allow violence to go unchecked.
It provides a space for people to have a discussion about the impacts of those wars. All of these artists have different perspectives, whether it's about the environmental impacts, the way that culture can be erased, or the ties to religion and the tension between peace and brutality. So what's really significant about this is that there are museums that will choose not to talk about conflicts that are actively going on. And while we aren't specifically talking about the active wars right now, it provides a space for that reflection and that conversation to happen.
These topics are heavy and can be triggering for some people. However, experiencing this exhibit allows for reflection and communication around these topics. I'm Claire, reporting for Raider News.
What's at Stake will be available for viewing until March 23rd. A longtime host on Jefferson Public Radio's classical music station will retire this June. Don Matthews was first on the air with JPR on July 1st, 1998. He is the host for First Concert Don Matthews. One notable memory Don has on JPR is a while back during one of their fundraising drives he was on with Ron Kramer, the executive director of JPR at that time. They were doing what they called the Oprah Request program. During one call-in request and pledge, they had an interesting request.
And one day I came in and he said, I just received a pledge from a longtime supporter of the station who said they would double your pledge if you sang live on the air. Would you do it? He asked me this question live on the air, not before the mic opened. And what was I going to say? Of course I will.
Don indeed sang on the air for that listener who then doubled their pledge that day. An opera about one of history's most noted authors is calling historic sites in the Rogue Valley home this month. As Ripley Perotti reports, the show opened at SOU.
This past weekend, Southern Oregon University's Lyric Theater debuted a new show called The Ghosts of Gatsby, a new American jazz age opera. The one-act performance follows F. Scott Fitzgerald and his complicated relationship with his wife, Zelda. The event's description reads, The Ghosts of Gatsby is an operatic tribute to the demands of madness, art, and love. To fully immerse the audience in the opera's setting, both performance venues are authentic 1920s sites. The first round of performances took place at Evandale, the Voorhees Mansion in Medford. This upcoming weekend, 4 additional shows will take place at the Ashland Springs Hotel on Fridays and Saturday, March 15th and 16th, from 5:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Tickets run from $20 to $25 and can be purchased on SOU's events page or at the door.
That was Ripley Perotti reporting. SOU students who aspire to act can get a leg up from the school's partnership with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. As Tanner Smith reports, recent grads are applauding the program.
Since 2011, Southern Oregon University's acting program has been working closely with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival in a program that gives students more practical experience on stage. We spoke to recent graduate Nicole Villavicencio for more about her experience in the program.
The program is so strong. It's almost competitive, I think, with like some strong conservatory programs. And it's just because of how closely knit they both are, the festival and the theater program. I took stage combat from the resident fight choreographer at the festival. There were so many classes that I got to take here that were like already tied in with the festival without working actively at the festival. So it was just a great opportunity. Yeah. So many different styles and forms of theater that I had never even heard of before. My sophomore year, one of our first shows back from the pandemic, I got to do Commedia dell'arte, which was something I'd never heard of, got to do before, and it was all mask work, and in that show I got to sword fight. It was awesome. So I've learned techniques like Commedia dell'arte and Meisner and Animal and all these different forms of creating art in theater that are so rare to other programs that are just musical theater based or just Shakespeare based. I think this program really allows you to try it all.
4 recent SOU graduates, including Nicole, are in this year's productions at Oregon Shakespeare Festival. For more about the program, visit sou.edu.
That was Tanner Smith reporting. Thank you for watching Raider News, your local news source. Stay tuned for weather and sports following this commercial break.
Sustainability is one of the main pillars at SOU, and it's supported by all levels, from students to faculty, staff, and the administration.
I grew up on a farm in California. I know how important pollinators are, and for Southern Oregon University to be the first bee campus is fantastic.
So last year, SOU was accredited as Tree Campus USA for the first time. And we started thinking about Tree Campus USA and all the accreditations that we went through to get that and how we were able to accomplish that. And it struck us that we should be doing something for pollinators too at SOU.
Welcome, you have found yourself at the Center for Sustainability, and we function as SOU's student farm. Around 30% of our food is dependent on pollinators to grow healthily. It's really important to us to not only grow the food, but to steward bees as well. We have 3 hives here that we take care of. A big part of what we do here is make an environment that is really supportive and conducive to pollinators.
So what we're doing today is planting another pollinator garden on campus. This is our 4th pollinator garden that we've put in. We dedicate this area to no pesticides, no herbicides being used down here. We're going to put signs up that educate the public to what this is and why these plants are important. We're also going to put in these 3,000 flowering plants and hopefully encourage a lot of the native bees to come in here and take up a home here.
And this is something we have to do for sustainability, not only in Southern Oregon, but for this nation. The bees are at peril.
Good afternoon. I'm Avery McQuaig, your weather reporter, giving you a weekly update on what we have going on for the forecast this week. Going on into the weather radar, we got some heavy cloud work going on here. This is the blue area. The green is what represents some precipitation, but it's not as intense as it looks. Moving on to the 7-day forecast, it is a similar start as to what happened last week, but as we're moving on to Thursday, it's going to be fairly warm in the 50s and 60s. And I think we can comfortably come to conclusions that we are finally here in spring. Back to you.
The SOU Raiders softball team held their regular season opener last week. Inessa Villanueva reports.
The number 8 ranked Southern Oregon Raiders softball team had their home opener this past weekend with a 4-game series against the Carroll College Saints. The series opened with a doubleheader on Friday, March 8th, with Southern Oregon taking both games, winning 3-1 in Game 1 and Game 2 8-0. Game 2 was riddled with errors by the Saints, allowing the Raiders to get 6 unearned runs in the second inning, including an inside-the-park grand slam. Saturday the 9th was another doubleheader, and the Raiders closed out the day taking 2 more wins and sweeping the 4-game series against the Saints. The first game of the series only went 5 innings, with the Raiders earning the mercy win 9-1. Game 2 went the full 7 innings and was highlighted by Jordan Henderson's home run to left field in the third. Southern Oregon's pitching and defense was stout, allowing only 2 earned runs throughout the 4 games, with the team extending their win streak to 8. Star pitcher Katie Machado also improved her record to 9-1 and keeping her ERA at an astounding 1.64 on the season, with 51 strikeouts so far. The Raiders' competition ramps up as they play at number 6 ranked Oregon Tech this week, the preseason favorite to win the Cascade Conference.
That was Inessa Villanueva reporting. Thank you for tuning in to your local Raider News Network, and we'll see you next week.